Hello guys, F.A.D. here and welcome to another album review. This time we're going to be talking about yet another band which many people seem to hate but I actually quite like. We're going to be talking about Hinder, and in this review I'm going to be covering their debut album from 2005, Extreme Behavior. Extreme Behavior really is unlike anything that the band would go on to do afterwards. I mean, the band really did change their style with their follow-up album in 2008 called Take It to the Limit, where they kind of decided to go into a more glam metal kind of direction, of course, with songs like Use Me and Up All Night. But here, on the other hand, Extreme Behavior is more of a post-grunge album, you know, more reminiscent of some of the stuff that bands like Nickelback and Fury of a Dead Man had been pulling out. And of course many people, that's one of the reasons why many people hated on them, because they were generic and they weren't doing anything special. But again, like I previously said, I actually do really like the band, and I think this is a pretty good album. Another one of the reasons why people tend to sometimes hate on the band is because of their lyrical content. I mean, for the most part, it's just about, you know, some girl. I mean, to be honest, every single song on this album is about some girl. But of course, I mean, that doesn't immediately mean it's bad. I mean, just because a band happens to have, you know, one set topic that they like to, you know, write songs about doesn't mean that immediately it's all bad. I mean, sure, it could have used some more variety and, you know, something different, you know, to just spice things up. But overall, I still think that what they did was good. This particular album can be split into two parts, the rock and roll songs and the ballads. Now, it's a bit unfortunate that on this album there definitely are more ballads than, you know, proper, you know, rock and roll songs. Something which the band would change in their later albums. I mean, at least up until Welcome to the Freak Show. But yeah, I'm not saying that the ballads are bad. I mean, they're actually all pretty good. I mean, the band are definitely very good at writing ballads, but I definitely prefer it when they, you know, have something a little bit more heavy, you know, something more upbeat. And on this album, you know, it can be a bit of a problem because you have a bunch of ballads, and some of them come like all right after another, and they kind of all begin to sound the same, which is a bit unfortunate. Like, again, I'm not saying they're bad, but I just wish that, you know, they would have added, you know, some more upbeat rock tracks, you know, just to spice. The album starts out very well with the lead single, Get Stoned. Now, once again, you can already tell from the title that it doesn't really have any genius lyrics, but in my opinion, it's not really that much of a problem. It's just a fun song to listen to, you know, it's about sex and drugs. I mean, honestly, what more could you want? I mean, it's basically your typical Hinder song. You can kind of already start, you know, to see some of their later influences, like you can already kind of tell, you know, you can already kind of sense their later sound on tracks like this, but it is definitely still different from what they would go on to do. But I really do like the song. I mean, I guess one negative about the track would be that the chorus itself, while it is catchy, it is definitely repeated a lot in the song, so they kind of just fill up the entire track with just the chorus alone, which, you know, could be annoying for some people. Personally, I didn't really mind it all that much. I mean, I really do like the track. It was one of the first songs from Hinder I ever heard. Actually, it might have actually been the very first song from Hinder I've ever listened to, so maybe that has something to do with, you know, a little nostalgia, maybe a little stuff, something like that. But overall, I think it's a good song, and it's followed up well as well. I mean, the next song right after that, How Long, again, is another track which is definitely more on the heavier side on the album. It's about a bad breakup and stuff like that. And of course, again, while the lyrics are kind of generic, you know, they're not anything special, I do think that the song works well. Although Austin's vocals on the track are a little weird. I mean, it kind of sometimes sounds like he's just barking them out like a dog, but overall I do like the song. I do like the feel of it, and I think it's written well for what it is, so I definitely do like the way the album starts off. After that, however, we encounter our very first ballad, and well, it's actually the first of 4 in a row. So yeah, right after those two heavier songs, we get 4 straight ballads. Now, again, I don't dislike the ballads. I think they're all pretty good, but the problem is that they're all just pretty similar to each other, so it kind of feels like it's just one big ballad mushed together, you know. I really wish the band would have put in like at least like one more heavier song in between, you know, just to give us more variety, you know, just something more memorable. But I mean, like I said, the songs themselves are good. I don't hate them, but I just wish that there would have been something different, you know, like in between all of them instead of just 4 straight ballads. I mean, first you have first off you have By the Way, which is a nice ballad. I really like I like the lyrics, I like the chorus a lot actually. After that we follow it up with Nothing Good About Goodbye, which is probably one of my favorite songs on the album actually. It is then followed up by Bliss, I Don't Wanna Know, which again is another decent track, even though the hook is pretty repetitive. And then to end off this string of ballads, we get Better Than Me, which was one of the singles, and it's definitely one of the more well-known Hinder songs. And I mean, I really do like it. Again, it's nothing all that groundbreaking. I mean, the title basically says it all, Better Than Me. It's basically about the guy singing to his girl that she deserves a lot better than him because he's no good, but eventually he ends up missing her and yada yada yada. You know, like I said, nothing special, but it works, so nothing wrong with it. I really do like the chorus, I like the vocals, I really like the energy that Austin puts into them, and overall it's just another good song. But finally, after that, we got track 7, Room 21, which is another, you know, more rock and roll kind of track. I mean, you can immediately tell it from the opening riff. The song, you know, lyrically it is a bit cringy. I mean, there are some pretty bad lyrics in there. I mean, the song is very sexual, and there's a lyric which is pretty embarrassing in there, where Austin basically says that this girl that he's singing about really liked the taste of his you know what I mean. But yeah, I mean, but at the end of the day, it's not really a song that's supposed to be taken all that seriously, and I do like the riff, and I do like that it's, you know, more upbeat, you know, again, it's a nice change of pace after the 4 straight ballads before this. And overall, it's definitely one of the more memorable songs from the album, you know, whether it's a good thing or not. I mean, like I said, the lyrics are questionable, but, you know, just like it really does remind me of some of those older, like, Nickelback songs from, like, All the Right Reasons and Dark Horse. And on those albums, I actually did like most of the music, so I don't really have too much of a problem with the song, apart from the fact that it can be a little cringy, of course. But at the end of the day, it definitely is one of the most memorable songs on the record. After that, however, we have yet another ballad, but this time it's actually the band's basically their breakout hit and their most well-known song, Lips of an Angel. Now, of course, when most people think of Hinder, this is the first song that they, you know, get in their head. It definitely made them big. This is definitely the song that really brought them to the next level as a band. And yeah, basically the song, it's a ballad, like I said before. Though it's not really your typical love ballad. Instead, it's actually about a guy that's secretly talking with his ex-girlfriend, and that he, you know, kind of wants to get back together with her because he never really got over her. So yeah, that's not really a song you should really play at a date or something. I mean, yeah, that wouldn't be too good of an idea. But yeah, so lyrics aside, I mean, at least it's something different, I guess. I mean, personally, I don't really think, you know, cheating is a good thing. I don't condone it, but okay, no, at least it's something different from your usual I love you ballad. And yeah, but I do like the song. Aside from that, musically, I think it's good. I like the guitar work. There's a nice little solo near the end. I think Austin's vocals again are very good. I mean, that's basically one of the band's strongest aspects are, you know, Austin's vocals. I really do think he is a great vocalist, and he's definitely, I really do think that the band really misses him. Honestly, ever since he left, Hinder has just not been the same. I mean, he had that distinct sound. He gave the band their sound basically, and I do miss him. Like, honestly, like, that's why I don't really bother with Hinder like after like Austin left. Honestly, it's just like, they just won't ever be the same band again. But enough of that. Talking about this album and specifically this track, Lips of an Angel, their biggest song. Not my favorite on the album. Like, sometimes when I'm listening to it, I actually might skip it when I'm listening to it. Because, I mean, again, kind of another problem which actually happens quite a lot with this on this album is that the chorus does get repeated quite a lot. So it makes the song a bit repetitive. But overall, it's still a good track. Not my favorite, but still a good one. Then, moving on to the final two songs, first off we got Homecoming Queen, which lyrically is definitely the best track of the record, definitely one of the highlights. It's about, you know, your perfect dream girl, you know, who had it all, who had all the potential, and then she basically just ruined her life, you know, she went down the wrong path and stuff like that. And I really do like the song. I mean, it really, it definitely is like I said, lyrically one of the best songs. Not only because it probably has a message, unlike a lot of the other tracks, but also I think, you know, it's just very clever. I mean, it's just, you know, it's just true. I mean, it's just something that, you know, some people might even relate to in a way. And I do like that. I think it also has a pretty damn good guitar riff, so not only lyrically but musically it also stands out. Although the guitar riff is pretty damn similar to Sweet Child O' Mine. Is it just me? Like, honestly, like, it's really similar. That's like the first thing I think of whenever I hear the track. But overall, again, another good track. Austin, again, does a very good job on the vocals. Definitely one of my favorites on the album. And basically one of my favorite songs from the band as a whole. I really do dig the track. And then to finish off the album, we got track 10, Shoulda. Now, once again, it's another song about a relationship, specifically about a guy calling his girlfriend and then her saying that she loves him, and then him just not being able to really say anything, just not knowing what to say, just being thunderstruck, basically. I mean, I guess this is something that a lot of guys could relate to. I mean, of course, some of you might remember the Drake and Josh episode where Josh's girlfriend said she loved him, and then he just was like, and then he just shuts the door in her face. But yeah, so I guess some guys could relate to it. I mean, I think it's pretty well written. I like the chorus. I mean, shoulda, woulda, coulda, said it back to you and stuff like that. I really do dig it. And overall, it's definitely one of my favorites on the album. Again, I think it's a good way to close it out. Honestly, again, Austin, just like always, does another good job on the track with his vocals. And overall, just a very good, nice way to, you know, round it all off, you know, after the rest of songs. I mean, it's fitting, you know, basically the entire album is about relationships and stuff like that, so it fits that you finish off with another song like that. But yeah, that was the album. Overall, you know, of course, there are some low points, but there are also many high points. Overall, I would have to say that this is probably one of my lesser favorite Hinder albums. Not counting their new stuff with the new singer, I don't really bother with that stuff. But from the Austin era of Hinder, this is probably one of my lesser favorites. But I still like it. I mean, I just really like prefer like some of their later albums, like All American Nightmare and Take It to the Limit. I really like those a lot more. But this is still a pretty damn good record. It's a nice debut. Another negative of it definitely is that it is kind of short. I mean, some of you might know that I always tend to get annoyed whenever an album is under 40 minutes long. Now this clocks in at around 38 minutes, which I guess isn't too bad. I mean, I know some other albums which are even shorter, but still I wish that maybe they could have added like at least one more track somewhere. Like honestly, like if they just added like another like, you know, rock and roll, no heavy track like in between all of those ballads, that would have been perfect. Honestly, it definitely would have been enough for me to give this album a better score. But yeah, in the end, Extreme Behavior is a good album. You know, definitely not Hinder's best work, but I still like it. It has some good guitar work. I love the Austin's vocals like I do on all of his stuff, and you know, in the end, you know, it has a great start and end with a hit or miss middle. But overall, I think this is still definitely a solid album, and I'll probably give it a nice 7 out of 10. That's probably what I'll give it. Yeah, a 7 out of 10. I think that definitely is a good score for the album. So yeah, that was it for this review. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. And now quickly, before I finish off the video, I just quickly want to say that you might have noticed so far in the video that I'm trying to edit again. Of course, after the YouTube editor kind of disappeared, I was in a little bit of trouble because that was my that was the editing program that I used before. So since it was gone, I kind of didn't really have a way to edit. But I found this other program, and yeah, I kind of wanted to do this video just to test it out a little bit, I guess. So yeah, so it's nice to be back to editing anyhow. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this review. Tell me in the comments below what you guys think of Hinder as a band and what you guys think of this album specifically. I mean, do you guys think it's good? Do you guys think Hinder were a good band, or do you guys hate them like a lot of other people might? Personally, like I said, I do like the band. They're not one of my all-time favorites, but I do think that they made some good music, especially when Austin was their vocalist. But that's it for this review. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. And yeah, I'm gonna see you guys in my next video. Bye.